This is the Columbine Memorial. I was in the Denver area and I saw that I was 2 minutes away from the Columbine school where the shooting was in 1999. And gosh, that was over 20 years ago, but it just seems like yesterday. And I just had to come out and kind of take a look, pay respects. I hope people come here to this place to think about how they themselves can be better people rather than come here to reflect on death. It brought the nation to its knees, but now that we've gotten back up, how have things changed? What have we learned? He was a 4.0 student before he was shot and paralyzed, and he remained a 4.0 student after. But remember, this was a kid who had to relearn to read and write before he could graduate. I didn't have any answers. Trying to raise my kids normal, even though I'm not normal anymore. Wow. Dave must have been a faculty member. Columbine was a momentous event in the history of the country. Even in the midst of tragedy, we've seen the best there is to see about our nation and about our human nature. Bill Clinton. Well, that's special. We dedicate this ground to the memory of the 13. We dedicate this ground to those who suffered physical harm. We dedicate this ground to the students and staff who are at Columbine High School. We dedicate this ground to all of their families, and we dedicate this ground to the community that is Columbine. We are Columbine. Those of us who are people of faith in this community turned to God, found He was there, and found He wasn't silent. Well, I think that this caused people to strengthen rather than shake their faith in God. The hardest part to understand was kids killing kids. Wow. Very humbling. Well, as a teen, he added Chevy trucks and the Green Bay Packers to that list, and his love for Jesus developed in him a strong set of Christian morals. John had a disposition that parents and girlfriends dream of, the kind that didn't need a heavy hand of discipline, and that made him an old-fashioned gentleman on dates. But his sunny disposition could not keep him from entering what many teens enter, a dark tunnel of loneliness where God seemed far away. John didn't stay long in that tunnel. 7 months before his death, he reconnected with God and rediscovered the joy of his faith. That faith sustained John with courage and strength to face evil during the last moments of his life in the Columbine High School library. In heaven now, John fully understands the truth of the words written long ago, "You, dear children, are from God and have overcome them, because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world." Ooh. Wow. Cassie Renee Bernal. Our Cassie had an engaging laugh, beautiful long blonde hair, clear blue eyes, and a big warm smile that she generously shared. Her loves were music, snowboarding with her brother Chris, photography, travel, and youth group. Seeking to be an obstetrician, she dreamed of bringing new life into this world. Cassie truly longed to know what heaven would be like when she strived to know the Lord whom she would meet there. Her heart's desire was just to live for Christ. Weeks before her death, she expressed her anxiousness to see heaven, stating that she could hardly wait to get there. When asked how we would ever live without her, Cassie simply replied, "Wouldn't you be happy for me? You know I'd be in a better place." Cassie lost her life because of her belief in God. Although her dreams of ushering in new life tragically ended, her stand continues to encourage many to seek new life through Christ. We miss her immensely, but know she's in a better place. Philippians 3:10-11. Rachel Scott. Her middle name described her. She was a joy. Her beauty reflected her kindness and her compassion. A month before her death, she wrote, "I have this theory that if one person can go out of their way to show compassion, then it will start a chain reaction of the same. People will never know how far a little kindness can go." Rachel had a sense of destiny and purpose. She also had a premonition her life would be short. She wrote, "Just passing by, just coming through, not staying long. I always knew this home I have will never last." The day she died, she told a teacher, "I'm going to have an impact on the world." In her diary, she wrote, "I won't be labeled as average." Her faith in God was expressed in prayer. She wrote, "I want to serve you. I want to be used by you to help others." Her final words were her testimony to her life. When asked if she believed in God, she replied, "You know I do." Wow. Kyle Albert Velasquez. A young man who as a child struggled with developmental delays and learning disabilities. He knew his limitations, yet wanted to be like every other kid. He was just beginning to really like who he was. Kyle taught those who love him so much about unconditional love, compassion, forgiveness, and perseverance, and acceptance. He was a true friend to those who chose to take the time to know him. He loved his brother Daniel, his family, cats, ice cream, pizza, and riding his bike. He spent his time at home with his family, watching sports with Dad and going to the library with Mom. Kyle had been a student at Columbine only 3 months and was just beginning to spread his wings. The world around him was beginning to open up for a young boy who had struggled through school and life, but through all of his delays and difficulties, he always smiled, forgave, and saw the good in those around him. Kyle was and is very much loved. He will always be missed and never forgotten. Matthew Kechter, a gift from God. As the sun rises, the eagle soars, and the wind whispers, we will remember you. Memories are moments of time strung together, but in these moments of reflection, we will see the kindness in your eyes. We will hear your sweet chuckles of laughter and feel the love of others in your heart. We will always remember your fondness for the outdoors, your passion for sports, and your dedication to academic success. Your broad and proud grin after you caught your first trout will never be forgotten. You loved to compete and strive for the best in all sports that you played. You loved to win, yet your sense of fairness and integrity always prevailed. Academically, you shined so very bright. Never forgotten will be the moment when you were listening to music, watching a football game, and working on your algebra. When questioned about the distractions, using your Forrest Gump voice, you replied, I have a 4.0, and that is all I'm going to say about that. Known as the go-to guy for homework, help, you always found time to lend a hand. More importantly, you brought joy to those around you with a kind word or a gentle smile. Your devotion to family and friends will serve as our inspiration to follow as we journey through life. You possess such profound empathy for someone so young. You are wise, loving, and thoughtful. I am with you always. Matthew 28:20.